At 94, Barbara Eden finally talks about Sal Mineo. Barbara Eden was born with the name Barbara Jean Moorhead on August 23, 1931, in a city called Tucson in Arizona. She grew up to become one of the most famous and loved stars in Hollywood. She was a woman who had grace, charm, and a special sparkle that made her impossible to forget in the history of entertainment. From the very first moment she stepped into the spotlight and became famous, Eden had this warm and friendly glow about her that made everyone watching feel like they actually knew her in real life. Like she was a good friend who came to visit their living room every single week with a playful wink, a bright smile, and a little bit of magic mixed in. When Barbara was growing up during a really tough time in America called the Great Depression, her early years were not fancy or glamorous at all. Her family didn't have much money, and life was hard for many people. Eventually, her family packed up and moved to San Francisco, which is a big city in California. That's where she found comfort and excitement in music and putting on performances. She went to a special school called the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, where she studied how to sing really well. She also joined local theater groups and put on shows. And that's when she discovered that she felt most happy and alive when she was standing under the bright stage lights performing for people. With a voice that was trained in both classical music, like opera, and pop styles, like the songs you hear on the radio, she performed her songs in nightclubs and on local television shows. She earned enough confidence from the applause and cheers to start dreaming even bigger dreams about her future. Eventually, the big movie-making city of Hollywood came calling, and she decided to answer that call and go for it. By the middle of the 1950s, Barbara was showing up in a bunch of different TV shows and movies, and she was starting to get more and more popular because of her striking beauty, her funny instincts for comedy, and her friendly personality that made people feel comfortable. But it wasn't until the year 1965 that she got the role that would make her a name that everyone in the whole world would know and recognize. She played a character named Jeannie in an NBC fantasy sitcom TV show called I Dream of Jeannie. As the playful, charming, and super affectionate Jeannie in the show, Barbara Eden took a single television role and turned it into something that became a huge part of popular culture. Her famous pink harem costume, her big expressive eyes, and her upbeat happy energy made the character of Jeannie something that nobody could ever forget. The show had a perfect blend of romantic tension between the characters, silly slapstick comedy that made people laugh, and magical chaos with all the Jeannie powers. It became a comfort show for millions and millions of viewers, and Eden was the glowing, shining heart right in the middle of it all. Her comedic timing and funny delivery, which she often performed alongside her co-star Larry Hagman, who played the character who was always frustrated and frantic, showed audiences that she wasn't just a pretty face on screen. She was actually a really skilled performer whose natural instincts and talent made every single scene better and more entertaining. Even many decades later, when the show plays as reruns on TV, it continues to grab the attention of viewers who either discover her infectious energy for the very first time or fall in love with it all over again. Very few actors ever create a character that can reach across different generations and stay popular. Barbara Eden did exactly that, and she made it look easy and effortless. But Eden's career as an actress didn't just stop at Jeannie's magic bottle. She went on to prove that she could do many different kinds of acting roles again and again. She starred in lots of different films like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Harper Valley PTA, The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm, and The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau. On television, she appeared in everything from serious dramas to made-for-TV movies that were created specially to show on TV instead of in theaters. This included two highly rated I Dream of Jeannie reunion films where she got to play Jeannie again. She also performed on Broadway, which is the famous theater district in New York City, and she acted in musicals. She continued delighting and making fans happy with her amazing stage presence well into her later years when she was much older. Whether she played glamorous roles, comedic funny roles, or dramatic serious roles, she always carried the same elegance and dedication that had marked and defined her entire career from the beginning. Between the years 2000 and 2004, Barbara Eden captivated and amazed audiences all across the country with her dynamic and energetic performance in a national touring production of a famous play called The Odd Couple, but this was the female version of it. In this inventive and creative gender-swapped version of the classic Neil Simon comedy, which means they changed the male characters to female characters, Eden brought the lovable and neurotic character of Florence Unger to life with her signature charm and perfect comedic timing that she was known for. She shared the stage with another actress named Rita McKenzie, who played the confident and spirited character of Olive Madison. Critics who review plays and regular fans alike gave Eden lots of praise for her ability to breathe fresh, new energy into the character of Florence, making the character both relatable, meaning people could see themselves in her, and hilariously endearing, meaning funny but also sweet. While her chemistry and connection with Mackenzie added a delightful extra layer of depth to the funny back and forth between the characters, the tour allowed audiences all over the country to experience Eden's stage presence with their own eyes in person. This proved once again that her talent goes far beyond just the small screen of television and helped cement her reputation as a versatile performer who is capable of commanding the stage with warmth, wit, and poise. Then in March 2006, fans were treated to a heartwarming reunion as Eden joined forces and teamed up with her former I Dream of Jeannie co-star Larry Hagman for a special publicity tour in New York City. The whole purpose was to celebrate the release of the first season DVD collection of the beloved classic television series that everyone loved so much. The pair charmed audiences everywhere with their trademark humor and easy camaraderie, which means the friendly, comfortable way they got along, appearing on a wide variety of nationally televised programs and talk shows. These included Good Morning America, The View, Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Martha, and Showbiz Tonight, among many, many others. Their reunion wasn't just a nostalgic nod looking back at television history and the good old days. It was actually a reminder of the enduring magic and lasting appeal of I Dream of Jeannie. And it was a testament, which means proof or evidence, to Eden's lasting appeal as a television icon that people still loved. Together, Eden and Hagman's appearances on all these shows rekindled and brought back the excitement of the series for long-time fans who had watched it when they were younger. At the same time, they introduced a brand new generation of younger viewers to the whimsical, magical world of Jeannie and her unforgettable adventures that people would always remember. Her memoir, which is a book where someone writes about their own life story, was called Jeannie Out of the Bottle. It offered fans a candid and honest look into her journey through life, revealing not only her dazzling and amazing career, but also her personal growth, the struggles she faced, and her unwavering spirit that never gave up. Readers who picked up the book found her story deeply human and inspiring. It was a true reflection and honest picture of the woman behind the iconic character that everyone knew and loved. Even now in her 90s, Barbara Eden remains a beacon of positivity and timeless beauty, which means she's like a bright light of happiness, and she looks amazing no matter how old she gets. She attends conventions where fans gather, appears at public events, and continues to engage and connect with the fans who absolutely adore her. Her bright smile that lights up any room, her cherished sense of humor that makes everyone laugh, and her remarkable longevity in show business, which means how long she's been successful, make her one of those rare stars who never truly fade away or disappear. They simply shine in new and different ways as time goes on. Barbara Eden's personal life has been marked by a series of relationships and marriages that reflect both the joys and the hardships she experienced behind the spotlight when the cameras weren't rolling. It all began with her long and meaningful marriage to an actor named Michael Ansara. The two tied the knot and got married in 1958, during a time when Eden's career was steadily rising and getting better. Ansara was already well known for his commanding and powerful presence in television and film. Their marriage lasted an impressive 16 years, which is actually a lengthy stretch of time by Hollywood standards, where marriages don't usually last that long. Throughout all that time, they built a deeply intertwined life that was shaped by shared ambitions and mutual support for each other's dreams. Ansara stood by Eden's side as she stepped into the iconic role of Jeannie that would make her famous, and Eden in turn supported him through the intense pressures of his own acting career and all the stress that came with it. Together, they welcomed their son Matthew into the world, and he became the emotional center and heart of their family life. Despite their strong bond and connection, the couple faced personal challenges and shifting career demands that eventually caused strain and stress, leading to their divorce in 1974 when they decided to end their marriage. Though the marriage ended and they went separate ways, Eden often spoke of Ansara with genuine respect and affection throughout the years, acknowledging and recognizing the profound and deep influence he had on her life. A few years later, in 1977, Barbara Eden entered her second marriage. This time it was with a man named Charles Fedgert, who was a Chicago Sun-Times executive, which means he had an important job at a big newspaper. His world was very different from the Hollywood landscape she knew so well from working in movies and TV. Their relationship offered Eden a change of pace and something different, pulling her into a new social environment that contrasted sharply with the entertainment industry's constant spotlight and attention. Fedgert was charismatic, which means charming and likable, successful in his career, and socially connected with lots of important people. Their union and marriage initially seemed like a fresh, stabilizing chapter and a new beginning in her life. However, as time went on and the years passed, the marriage became increasingly strained and difficult due to lifestyle differences. They wanted to live differently, and the complicated dynamics surrounding Fedgert's demanding career and personal habits that caused problems. Eden, who has always been open and honest about the emotional toll of difficult periods in her life and how hard times affected her feelings, later described this marriage as one that was marked by turbulence, which means a lot of ups and downs and disappointment. After 5 years of attempting to navigate their differences and trying to make it work, the couple divorced in 1982, closing a chapter that had begun with optimism and hope, but ended with hard-earned clarity and understanding about what she really needed. Barbara Eden found lasting happiness and true contentment in her third marriage to a man named John Eichholz, who worked as an architectural designer and real estate developer, someone who designs buildings and develops property. She married him in 1991. This relationship represented a real turning point for Eden and a major change in her life. It was a partnership that was not defined by the chaos of show business or the pressures of public life like before, but instead by genuine companionship, shared values that they both believed in, and emotional steadiness that gave her peace. Eicheltz brought into her life a calming, grounded presence, and the two developed a deeply affectionate bond that was built on mutual respect and an easy, sincere connection between them. Their marriage has endured and lasted for decades now, providing Eden with the stability and joy that had eluded her and escaped her in earlier relationships that didn't work out. Together, they've embraced a quieter, more private life away from the cameras, balancing Eden's occasional returns to the spotlight when she makes public appearances with Eicheltz's design career and their shared philanthropic interests, which means charity work helping others. Even in her later years now, Eden often lights up with happiness when speaking about him, expressing deep gratitude and thankfulness for a marriage that brought her comfort, peace, and a lasting sense of partnership and true love. At 94 years old, Barbara Eden, the iconic star who is best known for her role as Jeannie in the beloved television series I Dream of Jeannie, has finally broken her long-held silence regarding her memories of Sal Mineo. He was the talented and tragic actor who rose to fame alongside another famous actor named James Dean in a movie called Rebel Without a Cause. Over the decades and many years, Mineo's life and his untimely death, which means he died too young, have remained subjects of fascination in Hollywood that people are still curious about. Yet Eden's personal reflections and thoughts had never been publicly shared with anyone until now. In a recent interview, Eden opened up with candid warmth and genuine feeling, along with a sense of nostalgia, which means looking back fondly at the past. She provided insight and understanding into both the man himself and the era and time period in which they worked together. Reflecting on and thinking back about Mineo's presence in Hollywood during the 1950s and 1960s, Eden commented and said, "Sal was one of those rare actors who had a magnetic energy about him, like he naturally attracted people. Even when he wasn't on camera filming, you could feel his passion for performance and acting. He had a way of lighting up a room with just his presence, a quiet charisma that drew people in without him even trying or making an effort." Her words and comments suggest that Eden not only admired Mineo professionally for his work, but also recognized a depth of character in him that went beyond his public image and what people saw on the surface. She emphasized and stressed that while Hollywood often pigeonholed young actors, which means put them in a box and limited them into narrow roles that were all the same, Mineo possessed a remarkable range and variety. He had a combination of vulnerability and intensity that made his performances memorable and impossible to forget. Eden also recalled and remembered her personal interactions with Mineo, speaking about the kindness he often showed behind the scenes when the cameras weren't rolling. "I remember him as someone who was incredibly generous with his time," she said with feeling. "He would take young actors under his wing like a mentor, offer advice and guidance, and never make anyone feel small or unimportant." Hollywood could be harsh and mean, especially for someone like Sal, who was both gifted with talent and sensitive to feelings. He handled it all with a grace that was remarkable and impressive. Eden's recollections paint a picture and create an image of a man who, despite all the pressures of fame and the complexities and difficulties of the industry, remained compassionate and grounded. This was a side of Mineo that was rarely highlighted or shown in tabloid stories or public speculation and gossip. When addressing the tragic circumstances of Mineo's death on February 12, 1976, Eden's voice carried a mixture of sorrow and sadness along with reflective acceptance. "It was such a shock, and it's something that stayed with all of us who knew him," she explained with emotion. "Even though decades have passed and it's been so many years, the memory of that night, the senselessness of it and how it didn't make sense, still resonates and affects us." It makes you think about the fragility of life and how delicate and precious it is, the fleeting nature of fame and how it doesn't last forever, and how important it is to cherish and appreciate the people around you while you can and while they're still here. Her comments reveal and show not only the personal grief she felt and the sadness in her heart, but also her broader contemplation and deeper thinking about the human experience and the unpredictable course of life. This is especially true for those in the entertainment industry, where things can change so quickly. Eden went further to contextualize Mineo's contributions to cinema and culture, putting his work into perspective. She remarked on the courage it took to pursue roles that challenged societal expectations and what society thought was normal. Sal was fearless and brave, she stated firmly. He didn't just want to fit into a mold or be what everyone expected. He wanted to explore roles that had depth and meaning, that challenged both himself and the audience watching. That bravery, that willingness to take risks and try new things, is something I will always remember about him and keep in my heart. It's easy to forget with all the glamour of Hollywood and the glitz that these were young people putting themselves out there in ways that were often misunderstood by others who didn't get it. This reflection highlights and shows Eden's awareness of the historical and social context in which Mineo lived and worked, acknowledging both the limitations and restrictions and the possibilities and opportunities of Hollywood during that era and time period. Finally, Eden expressed a sense of gratitude and thankfulness for having known Mineo, framing her memories not in terms of loss and sadness, but of appreciation and gratefulness for the moments they shared together. "I feel fortunate and lucky to have known Sal," she said with quiet sincerity and honesty. "The experiences we had together, the laughs and funny moments, the conversations and talks we had, the moments on set when we were working, those are treasures I carry with me and keep close. He was gone far too soon, taken from us too early, but his spirit, his artistry and talent, and the warmth he shared with people will always remain and never fade away." Eden's reflections offer a rare, intimate perspective and a personal view on a life that ended tragically, yet continues to resonate and stay meaningful through the memories of those who witnessed Mineo's brilliance firsthand and saw his talent with their own eyes. Through her words and her heartfelt tribute, Barbara Eden not only pays tribute to Sal Mineo as an actor and performer, but also honors him as a human being and a person. She captures the complexity, talent, and kindness that defined him and made him who he was. Her candidness and honesty at age 94 serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring connections and lasting bonds forged in Hollywood. It reminds us of the lasting impact of individuals whose lives, though brief and cut short, leave a profound imprint and deep mark on those who knew them, and on generations of people who continue to admire their work and remember them.